Now, like I said, first up on stream today is going to be the 3v3 match between Spacestation and Divine. We already saw these two lineups playing 2v2 yesterday. Spacestation took that one fairly comfortably, and on paper it's expected that it will be just as one-sided in the 3v3. But to bring you guys action is going to be Leaf and Lawler, so I thought why not have a quick chat with them before we get into that match today. So Leaf and Lawler, welcome to the stream. Leaf, if I could ask you first of all, are you expecting the same sort of thing from Spacestation and Divine that we saw yesterday in the 2v2?
First off, I think you're very brave to try to bring yourself into a conversation with me. Most people try to avoid me. But yes, I do believe this will end up being a very one-sided affair. I think Lawler's probably on the same side here based off our pregame talks about how he feels about Divine in 3v3.
It's not that I feel a certain way, it's just I've seen their performances up to this point and have not been impressed. And it's Space Station, so they're considered one of the best two probably in North America right now. And I don't foresee that changing. They're currently undefeated moving in, so yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. I think Divine's got an uphill battle here, to say the least. And they're really antsy. Like, the amount of chat pings that we're getting right now is unreal from them.
Yeah, these guys.
Yeah, they were so eager to get started that they did try to start the match early. Luckily, we've got admin mode now. Thanks to Psionics for hooking us up there. We can put a pause on that one so that we don't miss out on any of the action. But yeah, you guys have made it pretty easy for me here, both going for Space Station in this matchup. I would definitely agree with you there, but let's not waste any time as we get ready for game one of the day to get started. Good luck and have fun.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, let's dive into this again. We saw this is a rematch of sorts, Lawler. It was obviously a 2v2 situation that this matchup happened there based off seeding in that bracket. SSG, of course, came out victorious in that bracket, taking them down 4-1. At least, Divine took a game. I feel like this is going to be a much different situation. To me, Divine was a team that came in to do their best in threes, but I feel like their power definitely pushed them forward in that 2v2 and 1v1 bracket. But, with 2v2 already being done, 1v1 is their last hope if they can't take down SSG here.
Yeah, the aggregate of all the different queues is going to be a big importance for them, especially with Space Station being one of three, I think Johnny said, that are still alive in all three. So, yeah, it's a kind of an interesting situation for Divine. They have not had the best performances in three so far. Out of all their matches that they've chosen to play it, they've only won twice. Initially, when they played earlier on and closed, and then they dropped down the lowers, and they ended up sweeping Flight and got a victory there. So, other than that, their last two matches where they played 3v3, they did not get a win, even though they still qualified. A lot of it was due to their 1s and 2s capabilities. So, hopefully they can make that translate here, but I'm expecting an early and aggressive start from Space Station.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, when Space Station is feeling like they'll be confident, you're probably going to see some early flair, but, an early goal is probably going to make them rethink how they approach the start to the game.
I know they were eager, but I didn't expect Arsenal to just miss the ball completely because he was trying to go so fast.
I mean, you know what happens. Sometimes you go hard, think you got it, then you don't. Such is life. Bring it back, though. An early goal on can't dictate the entire game, or at least Space Station shouldn't let it dictate the entire game. And they got basically the whole game to bring this one back to a tie and bring it to the lead. They're going to try to start an attack now. AXB trying to push some offense. And another goal somehow squeaks by. They had two people back, didn't they?
No, so they were all pushing down midfield together, and AXB, instead of challenging, recognizing he couldn't get in time to go for their top left boots for the deny, but everybody else just super far away from the play is able to bring it right down midfield. So not exactly sure what SSG is up to. They had a very confident Twitter post earlier this morning about getting a 3-0 sweep, so we're only a minute in, and lucky for them because they are not starting off well.
Yeah, not starting off well is, I think, a bit of an understatement. It wasn't as if Divine got the most spectacular goals. They just kind of rolled in. We're giving a couple freebies here, but they got to make sure they can hold it. And there's a turnaround, a banger to mid, and an answer. At least the defender wasn't able to stop it.
Yeah, just a lot of space being given. You see Jade just trying to get there as quickly as possible, but all three players rotating that back post together, kind of in unison. Leaves the other side of the field wide open, but still credit to Typical. Blast a shot on target. Almost too fast to where it gets put in this other side, but looks like Space Station's ready to fight now as the ball plays into the midfield. Going to be met by Dino, see if he can get something off the ceiling. Has no boost, so it's just going to have to drop down on top of it as he rotates out. XP going to get called off by Typical. End up going for an aerial bump on Port. Not a whole lot to show for it, but the pressure's still there from Space Station. Ball played in the corner again, dished into midfield. At least Arsenal gets a demo for it, and that's what we want to see and expect out of Space Station, is Arsenal's aggression, is top right placement, pushed away by Porklet.
They got to watch those. Space Station's all pushed up, almost inside that box yet again. So, Typical, I think, recognizing that, moved himself back to the midline. But again, quickly moved up. It was Arsenal that had to be the one to greet the ball. Space Station is extra aggro right now. They just have to be careful not to give up a couple more free goals to Divine. They're going to try to force one through. AXB going for physical play, but then dunking on his own teammate. That's going to give Dino a shot towards the net. We'll have to reset here. Almost another punish from Divine. As they try to find a hole towards offense on the orange side. Jarosov really quick. He's going to get beaten to the ball. Typical carries it down. Porklet almost own goals, and AXB is going to clean up the mess that ensued on defense for Divine. And we're back to a tie game at 2.5.
It was a good touch by Typical. That ball's going all the way across field, and he gets underneath it. And is able to make a cut so he can play it down line, but you saw the difficulty of when you're rotating back trying to make a challenge. He ends up feeding that back to his own net. They do make a save on it, but you just know that someone's going to be following in pursuit behind it. They tie it back up. So although the first minute was major in favor of Divine, it swung back the other way. Space Station looking a little bit more like theirself. Ball in the corner, played over the top. Might be able to get a second. He's going to pass that mid to Typical. They make it look too easy.
And there it is, gaining the lead. Again, this is what I wanted to see. I was trying to mention it at the beginning. When they're feeling good, Arsenal is just going to pop off. Arsenal's going to use those mechanics. We've seen them showcase in ones. We've seen them showcase with this team in threes. And that's exactly it. He gets the pass out. They're in the lead. And now Space Station can start the steamroll if that's what they're looking for. Divine's going to have to be very careful about their attacks now, and not allowing that possession to turn into a counterattack for Space Station.
You are seeing J-Russ, formerly known as Chicken, or probably better known as Chicken, putting a huge emphasis on boosting eyes and demos up top right now. Just trying to stop the Space Station rotation. That's really tough to say.
Yeah, and now I'm also hungry because Chicken and Porklet. And there it is, another goal. The steamroll starts. AXB puts away a fourth, and this is starting to look a lot more like what people had expected for this 3v3 series.
Yeah, they're honestly just outworking them at this point, catching these guys in a lot of bad challenges. One of Space Station's benefits is I think they're both not only strong in offense, but also defense. They just have the ability to handle both facets at any given time. But the biggest strength has got to be Arsenal. Even though Typical is well-rounded in every capacity, Arsenal's aggression and the ability to create opportunities for his team with bumps, demos, whatever it is something that you just have a hard time game planning for.
Now that final minute of gameplay, Divine is going to have to try to find something. They find an open hole. Dino at mid just manages to force his way through, as all three of Space Station were moving up quick for an attack, and there's only a 1-goal difference now with a minute left. A lot more reasonable for the Divine to pull back.
Fortunate for AXB as well. He's on that back wall and trying to clear it into midfield. I wasn't sure the second player that went for the follow-up, but they did end up missing. I'm not sure if that was AXB on his own or if it was another player, but kind of two mistakes dishing it mid in front of your net as well. Good punish, though, by Divine team. Still within one, so plenty of time to work with. So Arsenal trying to get that pass, ends up getting beat out by Porklet with Typical playing it to the side. Fine comes in, J up, and cleared away by Arsenal. Getting a good touch on that one to play it to mid. We're seeing the aggression come from Divine. Seems like they're adjusting relatively well. Winning actually quite a few of these challenges.
AXB cross field. Arsenal ready to work some magic again, but the ball is just out of reach. 13 seconds left. They don't need to get a goal, but they do just need to at least keep possession or keep it away from Divine. But they're going to put an attack on now. Arsenal with enough boost is able to bring that up. Oh.
That's just a nutty shot. What?
But own goal. Well, you're right. It was amazing, but it's an own goal.
First part is I don't think he had enough boost to get up there in the first place. But then I'm like, oh crap, he's actually going to get it. But then he runs out and he own goals it.
I literally just stopped casting with that. What? Am I confused? Am I looking at the wrong side of the field right now? No, that was an own goal. Porkley gets credit, and we go to overtime. Space Station throwing away game 1.
You even see people like Konovi and Chad being like, yo, Arsenal's got to check his PayPal for that. Money coming in.
It was not. That was a great shot, though. We'll give him that.
It was. Fantastic angle. Just wrong side, bud.
Not like this. There, can he bring it back? Now shot off crossbar. A double commit, and Arsenal's left in a 1v1. Dino tries to get a flick over top, but it's just out of reach. Flip reset from Porklet. He tries to get the dunk over Sip. He can't. Jay with the shot. And the attack is on. Porklet last remaining now. See if Space Station can convert any offense here. As AXB brought the ball down the field, and Arsenal tried to get a passing play set up, but it died out. They'll try again from midfield. 1 minute into overtime, and Space Station on offense.
Yeah, really good no challenge there by Civical and Arsenal as well. That ball was played across mid and gave an opportunity for a pass and a shot, but the angle would have been way too direct, so they ended up backing off and allowed them to sustain offenses. Shots get just peltered onto the net. Able to hand a majority of them, but eventually Arsenal makes up for his own goal and they give themselves a win here in OT.
Helter Skelter Pelter. As all these shots just fly on net, you saw it. Passing plays off the post. Arsenal the one to finish it. SSG claiming what most people probably thought should have been theirs from the very beginning. As they own goal at the very last second to give that chance to Divine. I'm sure we're not going to see that again. I'm sure Space Station is going to look to avoid a situation where they're getting sick, nasty own goals to bring it into overtime. Divine almost had a second chance there, but it was kept close. Some of that was from their own merit. I'm not going to lie. I'd say maybe only one of those goals was probably from their own merit. The rest were kind of handed to them.
So mean, man. So mean.
But hey, I mean, you take what you can get, and it was a very close game as a result. So we'll see if SSG can tighten it up, because they are looking like they're still maybe waking up a little bit here. And there's a lot of mistakes coming out that did result in those goals for Divine.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of silliness coming in from Space Station. A little bit relaxed on this one, but if I know anything about Chrome, he's probably going to reel it in pretty quickly here. So I expect SSG to make a lot less mistakes, but a lot of things I am seeing are still really good. Just making the smart decisions when to go and when not to go for challenges. Just a couple touches that are leaving Arsenal in a very frequent 1v2 or 1v1 position on the back line. A lot of the times when he's retreating too. So he's been handling it very well, shadowing it, making the challenges appropriately, which is great that you can trust him to do that, but I doubt he wants to be in those positions too often.
Well, we're going to find out how SSG adjusts. Even though they won last game, it's usually up to the loser to adjust. I feel like the biggest adjustments are likely to come from Space Station, but a quick cheat up from J-Russ nabs himself a goal as AXB couldn't get back to the net in time.
Well, similar start.
Yeah, it's odd because on that kickoff, what's the best situation if you're going to cheat? Because I feel like the fast cheat can sometimes overcommit you, but the slow cheat, as we just saw from the Space Station, resulted in a goal. And I'm curious, Aller, what you think, or if you're going to go for a cheat, what cheat you're usually going to go for? Straight in or pull back a bit?
Well, the unique thing about that question is Space Station actually puts a lot of emphasis on their kickoffs. I know a lot of teams actually base their strategies off of what Space Station does. And I'm curious to see if Divine put any of that effort into this, but I know for a lot of the RLCS teams, they pay attention to the way that they rotate based upon if they want to go for the safe approach on like a diagonal kickoff and stuff. There's a lot of facets to it. I personally think cheats nowadays, because players are so good at the ability to recover, are fine as long as that third man always rotates back to net after getting boost. Like, it's a requirement. So, yeah, cheat. I mean, High risk, high reward.
Well, based off that cheat, it was the right decision, and your number 1 seed SSG sitting behind in the series against Divine. Your number 8 seed. Or sorry, in this game. In the series, they sit ahead. My apologies. But only a minute in. And finally on offense, not for long, as a whiff comes out from SSG. Arsenal tries to just keep the play around mid at least. Porklet with a shot to the net. It's wide. As they try to capitalize on SSG. Still trying to find form and trying to find momentum. Each of the players from Divine just kind of diving head first and winning a lot of their 50s. And a pass out. J. Russ over to Dino. That's off the backboard. Sipical's going to be there to catch that one. SSG's defense holds up. But the question is, are they going to be able to get out of their own end? Because they've been sitting on the orange end for quite some time now, Lawler.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. I talked about it a little bit towards the tail end of that last game, about how a little bit more aggression coming out from Divine. Just trying to get challenges first and play at first. That could have been an opportunity to put it on target, but just barely missing out. You can tell, just trying to play as aggressive as possible. They do not want to give Spacestation any space to work with. Ball's going to play over to the corner. Should allow Civical to bring this one out.
Almost a conversion there. Goal line save, but a finish from Civical as he drives up with Arsenal to finish off this play. Both defenders committing to that one. That's a mistake you don't want to see. Porklet threw himself out of the net, and that's going to leave it wide open for Civical to take the shot.
It's actually unfortunate from Jay as he's trying to follow this one on the way back. By him jumping at it near post, it makes that back post guy as well miss. Either way, 2 commit. Maybe a sign of miscommunication, but a shot just wide by XB can be followed up by Civical, going for a double. Did that all day in 2s yesterday as just one after another. They put shots on target, but have the ability to bring this the other way.
This is something you can tell, though, right now. All of these backboard touches and post touches are very intentional. You can see all of Space Station doing their best to draw those defenders out. When you shoot it near post or just off target, a lot of times the defender wants to go up just in case it is going into the net, or at least to push it to the side. You're drawing a defender out, and Space Station's doing their best to open up those scoring lanes by putting it off the post, because you can see their teammates, all from SSG, turning around immediately, knowing that those backward and side post touches are coming. It's just not working, and the defense from Divine is holding off. Pretty strong from all these peppers, but missed on defense really there as a good pass comes out, and finish from Cipical again.
It's just a really good play from Arsenal. You have Dino waiting on the wing, and he just pre-jumps it and pinches it underneath him, making him look silly.
It's funny because I think you nailed it, is that at first it looks like Dino misses, but that pass was just absolutely critical. A beautiful touch, so hard to read based off his approach.
Something you were pretty keen on, talking about how pinches were going to become a very big part of the meta. And we weren't exactly sure. Obviously, everybody knows the cooks are pinch, but the understanding of knowing the fundamentals of how a pinch can work on some of these walls, I think just provides so many more options. We see everything being utilized in the air and off the ceiling nowadays that sometimes the simple things that anybody can accomplish and just doing it well can lead to some of these opportunities as the ball kicks mid. Can allow for a pass play to develop for Divine, but pushed away immediately by Space Station. 45 seconds left here in game number 2. Divine tries to tie up the series. Is going to go over the top and lead a wide open edge to make it nice and easy for Arsenal.
Yeah. And there it is, a good 50-50 at mid from AXB. He gets control in the air and just, sorry, it wasn't 50, I guess he just beat everyone over the ball. He had enough boost, and again, as you saw, Arsenal and Cipical are both quick to see that offense opportunity. And they get up there to finish it off with 37 seconds left. The question now is, will SSG get some more own goals to bring this back to a close series, or is this game all but over for Divine?
Speaking of play it up top over the backboard. Luckily for Dino, he does get a touch on it. Able to push that away a little bit. Arsenal wanted to follow that up a little bit more aggressively, but minimal on boost. As a shot, all 3 at net. Going to be hard to get past that one as they kick it into mid. Need a goal here. He's going to pass it across to one over to Porkley. Can he get over two? No. Good challenge by EXB, able to get up over the top, a double commit, and pushed away. Space Station defense coming up clutch here in the end. Puts them one more on the board, up 2-0 in the series.
And there it is. We saw a little bit more wake up, but still a little sloppy from SSG. Divine's still able to get in there and crunch out a bunch of 50-50s in the corners that's been giving them some opportunities and giving them chances. You know, the goal they did get this time was on their merit. They're holding it to SSG. I still think SSG has a long way to wind up here, like a lot more potential ahead of Divine from what we've seen. Unless Divine can suddenly just pull something out of their hat and pop off here. I think SSG is still favorited, even though it is not looking like SSG's top game. But we're starting to see a pretty smart offensive game. I mentioned it mid-game there. The just peltering off of the backboards, the side posts. This is allowing them, as I mentioned, just to reiterate, to draw out defenders, to force those defenders to really think about what they're doing in defense. It even forced a couple double commits from the defense of Divine. And it's allowing more scoring lanes and opportunities and wide more open nets for SSG. I mean, if you're having difficulty finding shots on net, why not just take the defenders out? Now you got a whole net to shoot at. Even if you're not that accurate, the ball's going to end up in the net. So I think it's really smart how SSG is adjusting to their own play style and making sure they can min-max basically how they're playing against Divine right now.
That was a mouthful and a half, Leaf. Holy.
So I'm used to filling. These servers are making mistakes again.
Yeah, I kind of updated everybody. Server had a little bit of hiccup, so we're going to be joining back in here so we can get into the game quickly. But yeah, a lot to digest in that one. I do think it goes both ways, right? Like, I think Space Station definitely still has a huge upswing that they can take. I don't think they're playing the best of their capabilities. But at the same time, the only goal that ended up going in was one on the kickoff. So they're still keeping Divine at bay, but they're still able to play even faster and even better. I think on the other side, Divine still has a lot of credit. I think they're playing a lot more aggressive and able to get to a lot of these challenges. You are seeing them starting to work some passes midfield. It's just they're being cut off by players on defense. So maybe solo plays, maybe something else, maybe taking the direct approach. Might be able to mix it up, but as of right now, Space Station has them red.
Coming into game number 3 here. SSG sitting up 2-0 in the series in this best of 7. This win, if they get it, would put them at match point, forcing Divine, if they want to win the series, into a reverse sweep situation. So this game critical for the momentum and just the ease of mind, knowing it would be a slightly easier journey to beat SSG if they can get this win in game number 3.
Well, game's starting to get chippy. A lot of bumps and demos already here in the first 40 seconds, but he's going to be able to get it past the last defender and drop it in. And just like the two before it, Divine scores first.
This is something that we saw in game number 1 as well. All of SSG move up on an offense. I think that's just a result of how they're working their offense right now. Using those backboard passes, you got to be close to follow up to make sure those defenders can't get a hard clear. So as a result, you lose some of that defense. You lose any chance of getting back in time if a hard clear comes like that. And that might just be, unless SSG adjusts Divine's game plan from here on out. Find that one opportunity, all 3 are pushed up, and just hard bang it down to the other end towards the net.
I know this has nothing to do with the game, but I can't ignore it. Someone just insulted someone else in chat by calling them a papaya.
A papaya? Yeah. We got papayas, we got rule 1s, and now we're in a 2v2.
What is that insult?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to use it now.
It's so good.
Everything run amok now. Yeah. As you noticed, we're in a rule 1, 2v2.
Yeah, rule 2. Yep. Second time.
It's been official. It's been written in stone. So get over it, Lawler.
In stone.
Stop being a boomer.
Just because Twitter's behind the times, it doesn't know how to make an edit feature.
Hey. We compromise. Rule 0 is keep it up because it's the OG rule. We all know it was the first rule. No one's denying that.
Says it's the first rule. Literally says first, but won't make it number 1. Weird.
Language evolves. Adapt with the times, Grandpa.
Well, no one's evolving while staying nose to nose, man. They're just sitting there, stuck.
This is
in the times.
This is
so,
a de-evolution of humankind.
So because we're stuck in the times, you should say to rule 1, right? Like nobody's moving, no one's progressing. Heck your language.
And but we do know this didn't go in the favor the last time this happened. We've already seen 2v2 between these two teams, and it did go 4-1 in favor of that series.
So AXP wasn't the one in the 2v2, so I think them having Arsenal locked is actually
this
huge
could benefit them,
advantage for them, yeah.
I think this is why they're holding it.
I mean, entertainment too.
Divine, hey, it's all about good sport. Let's see though, AXP trying to be Arsenal with some flip resets, but he's like, no, Simple, you can have the ball. Divine's been on offense pretty strong here.
This is the roster switch up in the middle of the series we always wanted to see. Just a lot of back and forth here still. Porkle might be able to get a shot here.
There it is. It was inevitable. I mean, Divine was on offense the entire time. You're absolutely right. Divine took their chances. Are like, hey, this is a different person. This is a different 2v2. We can do this. And they actually could. 2-0 lead now with a 2-minute turnaround. At this, SSG is confident in their 3v3 prowess in this setup that they can bring this back, but we'll find out.
Well, in game 1, they did find themselves down 0-2. See if they can bring it back yet again. They push it past the challenge met there by Dino. He's going to get up to it first and play it down into mid, but AXB reads it quite well. He's been a bully trying to follow it all the way down. Unfortunately, can't catch up to J-Ross, who's going to be able to play it across, but a double touch opportunity from Arsenal gets pushed away. Styles trying to play it slow. He had a pass opportunity there, but he holds on to it.
It's crazy because like we're almost seeing multiple different play styles being attempted by Space Station right now. AXB is looking like he's taking inspiration from Virtuoso. We look like we have a bit of G2 offense from time to time. It's kind of everything from Space Station right now. And I'm wondering why, or if that's why we're seeing some faltering here and there as they try to work all these things together.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the capability to kind of stick to a one-track mind. When it comes to this playstyle, it should be enough to carry them through. But the fact that they are mixing it up, I think makes it very difficult for Divine. But I think that they shouldn't mix it up until they see some of that resilience from the other team first.
Now in that 30-second run with 2 goals back, Space Station might be looking to go to game number 3 as a bunch of strange series of events happen. We end up in a 2v2. Divine capitalizes. When 1 goal in, though, 8 seconds. It's still possible for a kickoff situation for SSG. And this is that offense that they've been working on this whole time, and you can see it come through here.
Yeah, probably like the softest of touches to play it underneath those 2 defenders. Still 8 seconds. Curious what they do on the kickoff. You're going to see a slow cheat from Arsenal and almost played back in immediately by Sipical. Pretty good clear, and a shot on target is going to increase that spread. That should be all she wrote for Divine here in game 3.
Yeah, not the kickoff that Space Station would have wanted, but I'm sure that they're still confident in the series going forward. But this is definitively now, with 2 seconds left, going to be in the hands of Divine as they take one in the series. We know that they were able to take one in the 2v2 bracket as well, but it ended up still being a 4-1. See if the same story ends up here, if Divine's going to be able to capitalize on these mistakes still coming out from SSG. But huge respect to both teams holding on to that headlock. And huge respect to whoever's calling someone a papaya, because I'm going to use that now.
The only thing papaya here is you thinking that it's a rule 2.
Come on, get over it. Can we ban Lawler?
See, he's mad now because I called it a rule 2, but now he's still arguing. He's not even listening to the chat.
He
doesn't know what he's arguing for. See?
No, I'm just sick of people stuck in their ways. Can't get over it. Come on, get over it. We had a headlock. Look, we found common ground. We had a headlock in that game, the end of a 2v2 situation, which definitely benefited the team of Divine, because you saw Arsenal was locked up. Had that been Arsenal in the 2v2, very likely to see a different situation. Arsenal's been their powerhouse player when it comes to 1s and 2s, and Arsenal's typical probably could have taken that, but with AXB on, not that AXB's bad, AXB's a great player, but it's definitely AXB thrives in that 3v3 situation as that support player. So that was a very fortunate situation that allowed them to grab that lead and hold that lead against Spacestation to grab a game in the series, but it's still going to be a battle for Divine. I do believe the SSG, I don't know if you disagree, Lawler, the SSG still has that upper hand in the series based off what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think the headlock was really important that they ended up pulling Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it killed a lot of time. Just overall, a lot of time was spent in that moment. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it adjusts. They have been looking better. I mean, the aggression has been there from Divine, but I just think that Spacestation could be a bit too overwhelming for them a majority of the time. Either way, I hope they still keep trying to look for these passes, as they are exciting when they do develop.
Early attack from Divine. Let's say put one off the backboard, a missed double touch. We'll go to J-Russ. Space Station says, nah, get out of here. We're going to try to end the series now, and a pass over to Arsenal. Beautiful, but two defenders on goal line will double commit, and fortunately for Divine, there's not going to be a follow-up as they're able to recover. And no early goal for Space Station. The turnaround counter off the backboard. And actually, a bump from Arsenal on Dino prevents him from getting in for an attack early. Buys a lot more time for Sipical and Net to be able to defend that shot.
AXP off the backboard, almost able to get it. I think my favorite thing about watching Space Station right now is just their positioning on the field. You want to talk about G2-esque. Something that G2 made strides in this last season of RLCS was the ability to make sure they could be everywhere on the field. You're seeing Space Station try to replicate that here, as every touch that's made by Divine usually met by a player already waiting. This time, Divine is going to find the way out. Played down to Arsenal, bangs it off the top, seeing if he can get his own follow-up. He's going to miss, but it's not going to matter. Shot follow-up by Sipical. Much better start from Space Station here in Game 4.
Yeah, it looks like it's a lot more in control now. They're kind of reverting, I think, a bit to something they know that's a bit safer. They still look like they're pushing that that backboard offense. They know that there's not been a lot of defenders up there to stop a lot of the touches. But it's looking a lot more in control for Space Station. They want to get this series over with, but they're still only a goal ahead. And based off how this series has gone so far, I would not be surprised to see Divine grab another goal in some weird fashion.
Yeah, whether it be Arsenal going for a sick own goal or a double touch. He's been hitting everything. What a clear shot from Arsenal.
Is what I like to see. A nice little flick to pop it over one of the defenders. A double tap again. No one on the backboard to stop it. And just a beautiful angle from Arsenal. This is what we like to see out of him. Three minutes left at the 2-goal lead. Space Station, Lawler's looking the best I think they've looked in this series.
Yeah, it's been a little bit cleaner this game, and I think that's that reeling in I was talking about with Coach Chrome. Is I'm sure they've had their fun, but time to take it a bit seriously as a pass off the ceiling should lead a shot to AXB. Luckily for Dino, he's back and able to get to it. These are the things that I think make Divine have so much trouble, is every single one of these touches is kind of a last-ditch effort. They're having to just dish it away into the midfield rather than controlling it and being able to move it downfield. While Space Station already in position, able to just follow up and apply that pressure again as he finds Sipical. A little bit over the top, ends up playing it back to the side, but nothing too worrisome here. Sipical goes up on the sidewall.
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to point out this is looking a lot more like what we expect. A lot more what we expected of the play style from Space Station. You see the offense being generated by Arsenal and Sipical, and you see AXB making beautiful midfield touches to allow their team to stay on offense. It happened a few plays ago. He doesn't care if it goes straight towards the net again. He just wants control to allow Arsenal and Sipical to get boost and try again. So this is a lot more classic Space Station, and this is why it's working really well for them.
Yeah, unfortunate here for Dino as well in that last goal. just caught retreating. He ends up playing it off against his corner. Not sure if he meant to control the bounce or otherwise, but it just dishes to mid for that shot. So again, not only being outpaced, but just outpositioned. A lot of times they're just trying to play catch up, which is very tough to do. Space Station very talented on all aspects of the field. Just trying to slow this down, doing whatever he can to win some of these challenges. So far, so good. It pops over to J-Russ, but you know Arsenal's going to be chasing it down. This ball off the ceiling again, goes to AXB, plays it over to Arsenal, who plays it back across. Falls down perfectly to Typical, who's going to try to go for it, but beat by J-Russ. Plays it on target. The pressure's now on here on the Space Station half, as a double commit could spell trouble. He doesn't have any boost, but gets the 100. And is just going to coast that one in, but ends up missing wide and can't get the second touch on it. So Divine being given one here, and never mind, it goes right back.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal's shot on the first try there was not the easiest of situations, and it's double commits. We've seen it multiple times on defense. Their offense seems to be fine, but Divine's defense, a lot of times you're seeing two people going for the same ball. Dino was on it, but I forget who it was, but you also someone, I think it may have been Portland, just fly by. And that's causing these open lanes for Space Station to take shots on net.
This is our first seed versus our 8th seed. We talked about this very briefly at the beginning, but Space Station, again, very convincing wins in their 3v3s anytime they've been given the opportunity so far in Fusion. As for Divine, they've had a couple wins, but it has not looked good. So a lot of their reliance has been on their 1s and 2s, and at this point, with the standings being knocked out in one of those brackets already, to Space Station, you hate to see it happen again.
Orklet with a hard cross, but Dino was in mid and 7 seconds left. Whether they got a goal or not, it's not going to matter. They're not going to be able to get 3 off of 4 seconds. Although the fastest I have seen a goal, it's not going to happen, but the fastest I have seen a goal scored is 1 second.
Was that with like going into 0 seconds, or was that just
no?
Like
that was off
1?
a kickoff. The goal went in at 4:59. As the fastest I've ever
there's
seen
a
one
chance.
No, there was no chance.
Now. Yeah, it's gone now. But.
Yeah, but I guess there was theoretically a possibility. But yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen. Everything has to go in your favor. And SSG take it and put themselves at match point, 4-1 on this game scoreline, potentially leaking the script of how the series is going to go. If SSG takes the next one, it'll be 4-1 in the series. Divine is looking to obviously fight back a little bit more. They can't take the series. Their last lifeline in the Fusion tournament will be in 1s. And, I think they got some power there, but I do also believe they're going to have some really hard competition because there are some good 1s players sitting in that bracket as well. And he's pretty stacked for 1s.
1s has been absolutely stacked. So
yeah.
Kind of inform everybody again, we are in 3v3. Next up will be 2v2. And then after that, obviously the 1v1s. These are all best of 7s and single elimination. So if Divine loses here, they are done for the 3v3 bracket and the 2v2 bracket, both at the hand of Space Station. So trying to get a little bit of vengeance here. Ball played over the top. It's going to pop by for Arsenal, but you can tell Sipko already up. Ends up trapping it on the ceiling. Good job by XB. Usually the more quiet one, able to kind of just do his job. Never really the high flying, but very minimally making mistakes as he gets a demo here from Typical. Should allow him to follow up his own touch. Off the ceiling, plays it across. From Dino, comes out of Gred.
Arsenal just trying to get a touch at midfield. However awkward it looked. Touch itself benefited SSG. Kept them on the blue side. Though a misread from Arsenal is going to give Dino a chance to set up some plays for his teammates. There's Porklet with a cross. Arsenal cuts that off hard as he's still rotating back to defense. Back to mid. Porklet with a smart demo. Doesn't cost him his rotation, but it buys him a lot of space. Arsenal sent away with a fake touch there. But that offense seems to just fizzle out. And a nice soft shot's going to allow both those defenders to get a save. Divine really needed to capitalize on that offense. They set themselves up perfectly from the defensive end to the midfield, and then it just fell apart on the offensive side.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see as well, because Jay did a lot of things really well. Earlier in this series, he was the one denying the boost and putting a large emphasis on going for the Arsenal-esque playstyle, aggression, bump heavy, boost deny in the corners. But as he transitions onto midfield, he has no boost. He's sitting at roughly like 12. But despite that, he wins a 50-50. He slows it down, gets another one. And then just, as you said, it fizzles out. There's nobody there for follow-up, despite all that help. And then all it takes is one or two. And Space Station puts it the other way, gets themselves yet another goal.
And that's the lead. They're only going to need one, but I'm sure going to try to pile on some more there. That's what we like to see on offense. Arsenal and Sypical working with each other, generating that offense. AXB holding back. And at this point, Divine is going to need another answer. I mean, I feel like it's going to be, when you have offense, capitalize. Also, keep the physical play up on the rotations back. If they can keep that up, maybe they'll have an opportunity, but SSG in form is an SSG poised to win.
Unfortunately for Arsenal there, he ends up side flipping and it doesn't work out. It's a beautiful shot from AXB. Top right gets pushed away by Porklet into mid. These no challenges by Space Station are working wonderfully. All the pressure, nothing to show for it. Again from Divine. As they do control a lot of this midfield, but a lot of the boost consumption very minimal from Space Station, which allows them to push back the other way. Now on to Divine's side. And a massive clear met in the midfield. AXP's got plenty to follow this up, but he's going to let it go and almost get Porklet with the fake, but a shot top left. Slammed away by Jay. And Divine holds on for yet another minute.
Past the halfway mark. Divine on their last ropes. They need an answer. At least give themselves a peace of mind to bring it back to a tie game, but 2 goals is necessary at this point to keep themselves in the series. Sypical, a solo play, almost gets it past 2 defenders. He did his best, but Divine had him red. Pass down to J. Russ is going to be a shot blocked by Arsenal, though. Minute 30 left. They're starting to build up some offense. A shot from J. Russ, finding no one in net. They finally get one centered out, put on target, and a tied game. Divine still in the series.
Great solo efforts here by Dino. Wins the first challenge over Sypical and then gets into that corner to play it back mid. That individual effort able to get them tied up. Desperately needed at this point, but still a lot of time left on the clock. 1:30 in the game left to go as Arsenal plays that down to Sypical. Decides not to go for it as he's going to get beat to the ball. Just trying to pop this over one. Gets past with a 360, making it look clean. Gets past another. Does he have a pass? He does play it across. Unfortunately, nobody there. So one player in AXB getting past the entire defense of Divine. But unfortunately, no follow-up, allowing for the score to remain even. Ball going to settle in the midfield. Arsenal up another one. As the ball launches down, see what Sypical does with it. Pops it up high to himself. Gonna have to play this down. Tries to settle it low as he notices Porklet close. Challenged by Porklet. Gonna get bumped from behind. Typical just being a bully and only with minimal boost.
And the thing that's so smart about that as well is that he forces that player further into the orange side. So if SSG does get some offense, then they're gonna be sitting in a 3v2 situation. Very smart bump from Sypical. Final 20 seconds, counting down. Divine looking for offense. Jairus a little bit too far forward to reach for that pass. And will be pushed aside by XB and move to midfield. 10 seconds left. If no goal gets scored here by Porklet, then we end up in an overtime situation. One more chance off the wall. Jairus is going to keep it slow, actually. If that pops a little bit too high, he does get up to it. XB looking probably to kill this one. He does off the wall. We had overtime. That wasn't favoring SSG. Smart play from them. Divine gonna have to try it from kickoff.
Here to see how it happens here. Obviously, we've seen Space Station actually give up quite a few kickoff goals so far already this series, but looks like they're gonna be able to hold on, but initial pressure not gone yet as Porklet plays this across. Nobody there for the pass. Ends up causing 2 to commit. AXB misses 1. But gets the boost and is going to back off here. He's the last one back, but challenged by Arsenal in the mid. Should allow this to play across. Doesn't use that boost to fall off for the second as it would have been a little bit too hard on that angle. He backs off, rotates out. Oh, Dino doing whatever he can to stop this from developing the other way. As a quick touch plays it the other way, gets past another, and this is where Sypical's so strong. Just the ability to aggress with or without boost. Keeps it here on the Divine half.
That pass might come out. No, a bump's going to force Arsenal to send it high, but XP boosted up will keep the offense on. Arsenal also grabbing mid boost. Should be able to hold this one. He backs off, and it does end down in Space Station's end. XP gets past one, but not the second. Jay with a shot, just wide. Let's try from mid. Porklick keeping the pressure on. It looks like all three from Space Station want to move down, but that mistouch there is going to give another opportunity for Divine. A shot to the net, a slow roller just gets its way in, and Jay going to get credit as Divine win this game.
Absolutely crucial for staying alive as well in this single elimination bracket. But just relentless pressure. Not trying to give up at all, just trying to put as many shots on target, and eventually they spread them thin. You talked about being a slow roller, but it doesn't matter if nobody's left to make that save. Well done by Divine to keep themselves alive here. So we move on to game number 5, Leaf. Starting to see some things, but a lot of it seems to be on the back of J-Russ. He's helping a lot, but I think credit also has to be given to Dino. A lot of these challenges that he's winning are opening up a ton of opportunities for his team.
There's a couple things at play here. First off, SSG's looking really good, and I honestly am surprised by that overtime result. There were multiple mistakes, though, on defense from SSG that allowed Divine to have that offense. In addition to Divine finally having some midfield pressure. Too many times in the past games, I saw that third man going way too far back for boost when they still had some sort of pressure, some sort of possession. And that just made that midfield pressure die out completely. Divine finally had someone greeting it at midfield, and that changes the story a lot on how long you can stay on offense.
It also doubles down the issue, right? A lot of the times when they're retreating or they're moving back, they don't have any boost. And because they take those wide rotations going for their own corner boosts, they're not there when they need them most when it transitions back the other way. So, yeah, you're starting to see them move that, I guess, initial approach up a little bit more, and it's making it so much more easily accessible, whether they're taking the small pads or not. So, good adjustments here by Divine, but now it's up to Space Station. They're playing cleaner, but at this point, Divine's keeping it close.
Yeah, the thing that Divine's going to have to hope for, and it's not something you generally want to hope for. Sorry, and that other thing that is at play is what you mentioned is Dino's 50s are phenomenal right now. But so with Dino's 50s, some more midfield pressure, this could turn into a situation where Divine can actually find their own scoring opportunities and not rely on the mistakes of SSG. But if SSG does stop making those mistouches on defense, Divine may have to go back to the drawing board, but it's still match point. They don't have a lot of space left to draw.
Well, I was about to say that something that we've been seeing lacking for a while this series has been Arsenal's aggression. I haven't seen as many demos, and as soon as I think about it, of course, he pulls one on his own defense to secure his own corner boost. So, again, starting to get chippy here. Another demo coming out, and they end up trading. It looks like ASB is just going to carry this one back to his teammate, but makes an easy dunk and read for J-Russ. Able to play this cross to XP. Doesn't have the shot on net. He ends up whiffing altogether, but pass down to typical shot save. Good recovery here, but then dished right back. Another save by Divine on defense. They're able to push this the other way, Leaf.
Yeah, that offense almost turned into something, but I didn't see Divine's defense falter too hard there. Again, the ball was rolling pretty slow. They just had to get the body in the way and flip into it to stop these shots. Dino off the backboard. We like to see it. They've been lacking in a lot of those backboard rotations, so Dino's playing really smart lately. And now it turns around the other way. A demo on Dino, though, is going to take him out of the play. J-Russ with a beautiful touch. Keeps that play from going into the hands of SSG. We know that's been their playbook, is backboard, post, get those passes to our teammates off the rebounds, but Divine's starting to shut those down.
Same time, you're starting to see Space Station play extremely aggressive here. The amount of pressure they're applying here on offense. It's going to come down to those 50s again from Dino. He does get past one, but Sipco's there for the read. He pops over the top. Can he go for the Doomsday Dish? No. A beautiful retreating save to play that out. The pressure's still on. Porklick going to have to make a save. Doesn't matter. J-Russ gets up to it first. But now this is where it gets dangerous. Very minimal boost trying to dink this over the top. Arsenal can't get it. Fake challenge comes out from XB. Good decision making here. Able to get the boost as well. Played into the middle by Typical over the top. Can he get the pass across? And again, another crucial touch here by Divine to keep it out.
2.5 minute mark has approached. And neither team has been able to find the back of the net, but it looks like SSG may have a chance. Divine looking for that counter. Gets a little bit out of position here. And SSG with Sypical at charge is going to capitalize.
Yeah, a little bit different approach on this one, Leaf. Rather than playing high and on the wall for the backboard, he decides to keep it low and just try to force the 50. Brings that defender out of target, and then the follow-up is what really matters with it. Just Sypical so quick to make those second touches, but confidence and response here from Divine ties us back up at 1.
Confidence and response is exactly the structure they took off of that kickoff. Just beautiful cross-field passing plays. You put it just right of the net, forcing the defenders up, thinking they're safe, but Dino out of nowhere blasts his way home and back to tie a game with 2 minutes left. It's like nothing even happened.
Sypical just showing off at this point. Knows J. Ross is coming to challenge. It just sits on it as shot far right. He's able to get there in time, but Spacestation with a lot of control again. Sypical going to fake pass one, try to get past the other. Can't pinch this one across as Dino places. Doesn't want to fall for that same mistake that he had with Arsenal just a little bit ago. Timing absolutely perfect. Ends up getting the midfield boost so he can carry on and get a demo on AXB. The transition the other way. Sypical has a chance. He's got the flip reset. Can he get the dunk? Does get a touch on it, but it plays wide, and a shot wide open for AXB. No, J-Ross is hiding in the backside, and he plays it out.
That final minute of hustle is about to approach, but at a tied game, both teams should be looking to just keep doing what they're doing. Don't try to stretch too far. Especially if you're on the side of Divine, just play your game. You're not about to be knocked out yet unless this goes in off the backboard. That's exactly it. Divine playing so smart now, not allowing any of those rebound shots. That's the exact change they needed to hold off and stave SSG.
Now, I'm not sure if it's been communicated, but I love these solo efforts that are starting to come out from Spacestation. The pass plays, the bumps, demos aren't working, but again, this is the third one in a row where they're taking a solo individual effort towards the net and getting at least one or two to commit for it. So after they kind of transition and condition the other team to do that, it might open up some of these pass plays in more of the midfield, because you have to respect every single player on this team as they send the house, and it goes off the backboard.
Bouncing ball situation as it flies all over in Sypical. Nails went home at an incredible angle. You talk about the solo plays, the double tap flip reset. Bang, she's home. And with 25 seconds left, SSG poised to take the series.
People want to discuss why Sypical is so good. This series showcases it over and over again. The readiness to just challenge the ball and then in the air create something special. With 12 seconds left and Divine on defense, it could be difficult unless they can find a way out here. Final seconds ticking down as Arsenal just stays behind the ball, trying to apply as much pressure. Needs to pop this one up. Last chance here for Divine. If they don't score here and bring it into OT, that is it for the 3v3 bracket. And just like that, Spacestation going to be able to hold on and move on, and have now ruined the chances of Divine in 2 of the brackets.
SSG, the downfall of Divine as they clear them out. Divine, surprisingly, based off a lot of people's expectations, did a lot better in the 3s than they did in the 2s, on paper at least. And they seem to have figured out what they needed to do. And honestly, given a bit more time, I kind of want to see if what would happen in a best of 9. I still have SSG favored.
It's a long game.
But Divine definitely woke up, and I'm impressed by their ability to adapt to all the different playstyle changes from SSG in the first place, because they were changing stuff a lot throughout the series, and then Divine being able to make sure that their play can adjust individually on the micro scale and on the macro scale as a team overall. So I think Divine made some pretty good changes, but unfortunately, single elimination. That's all she wrote for that team. They're out in their last. Hope for getting points in this tournament is going to rely in that 1v1 situation.
Yeah, I think it was a good fight by Divine, but again, same thing for Spacestation. One of the better teams, I think, in my opinion, that is at adjusting mid-series. And they recognized it. You know, those pass plays just weren't working the way they wanted to. Bumps, demos, whatever it was. So they start going for the solo plays. They make these players have to commit because they just honestly don't want to in the first place. And it doesn't matter after 2, 3, 4 in a row, Typical hits something nasty. And it's crazy that they can rely on stuff like that. They just have the capabilities of each player individually to go up and do something. Even with AXB, as he starts getting more comfortable too in the series, you saw him dribbling past 3 players, and the only reason they don't score off of it is because he just didn't have a teammate there for a pass. So again, a very, very dangerous team in Space Station Gaming. Excited to see how they move on in the bracket. It also doubles down the issue, right? A lot of times when they're retreating or they're moving back, they don't have any boost. And because they take those wide rotations going for their own corner boosts, they're not there when they need them most when it transitions back the other way. So, yeah, you're starting to see them move that, I guess, initial approach up a little bit more, and it's making it so much more easily accessible, whether they're taking the small pads or not. So, good adjustments here by Divine, but now it's up to Space Station. They're playing cleaner, but at this point, Divine's keeping it close.
Yeah, the thing that Divine's going to have to hope for, and it's not something you generally want to hope for. Sorry, and that other thing that is at play is what you mentioned, is Dino's 50s are phenomenal right now. But so with Dino's 50s, some more midfield pressure, this could turn into a situation where Divine can actually find their own scoring opportunities and not rely on the mistakes of SSG. But if SSG does stop making those missed touches on defense, Divine may have to go back to the drawing board, but it's still match point. They don't have a lot of space left to draw.
Well, I was about to say that something that we've been seeing lacking for a while this series has been Arsenal's aggression. I haven't seen as many demos, and as soon as I think about it, of course, he pulls one on his own defense to secure his own corner boost. So, again, starting to get chippy here. Another demo coming out, and they end up trading. It looks like ASB is just going to carry this one back to his teammate, but makes an easy dunk and read for J-Russ. Able to play this cross to XB. Doesn't have the shot on net. He ends up whiffing altogether, but flat pass down. A typical shot saved. Good recovery here, but then dished right back. Another save by Divine on defense. And they're able to push this the other way, Leaf.
Yeah, that offense almost turned into something, but I didn't see Divine's defense falter too hard there. Again, the ball was rolling pretty slow. They just had to get the body in the way and flip into it to stop these shots. Dino off the backboard. We like to see it. They've been lacking in a lot of those backboard rotations, so Dino's playing really smart lately. And now it turns around the other way. A demo on Dino, though, is going to take him out of the play. J-Russ with a beautiful touch. Keeps that play from going into the hands of SSG. We know that's been their playbook, is backboard, post, get those passes to our teammates off the rebounds, but Divine's starting to shut those down.
Same time, you're starting to see Space Station play extremely aggressive here. The amount of pressure they're applying here on offense. It's going to come down to those 50s again from Dino. He does get past one, but Sipco's there for the read. He pops it over the top. Can he go for the Doomsday Dish? No. A beautiful retreating save to play that out. The pressure's still on. Porkly going to have to make a save. Doesn't matter. J-Russ gets up to it first. But now this is where it gets dangerous. Very minimal boost trying to dink this over the top. Arsenal can't get it. Fake challenge comes out from XB. Good decision making here. Able to get the boost as well. Played into the middle by Typical over the top. Can he get the pass across? And again, another crucial touch here by Divine to keep it out.
2.5 minute mark has approached. And neither team has been able to find the back of the net, but it looks like SSG may have a chance. Divine looking for that counter. Gets a little bit out of position here. And SSG with Typical at charge is going to capitalize.
Yeah, a little bit different approach on this one, Leaf. Rather than playing high and on the wall for the backboard, he decides to keep it low and just try to force the 50. Brings that defender out of target, and then the follow-up is what really matters with it. Just Typical so quick to make those second touches, but confidence and response here from Divine ties us back up at 1.
Confidence and response is exactly the structure they took off of that kickoff. Just beautiful cross-field passing plays. You put it just right of the net, forcing the defenders up, thinking they're safe, but Dino out of nowhere blasts his way home and back to tie a game with 2 minutes left. It's like nothing even happened.
Typical just showing off at this point. Knows J-Russ is coming to challenge. It just sits on it, a shot far right. He's able to get there in time, but Space Station with a lot of control again. Typical going to fake pass one, try to get past the other. Can't pinch this one across as Dino places. Doesn't want to fall for that same mistake that he had with Arsenal just a little bit ago. Timing absolutely perfect. Ends up getting the midfield boost so he can carry on and get a demo on AXB. The transition the other way. Typical has a chance. He's got the flip reset. Can he get the dunk? Does get a touch on it, but it plays wide, and a shot wide open for AXB. No, Jaros is hiding in the backside, and he plays it out.
That final minute of hustle is about to approach, but at a tied game, both teams should be looking to just keep doing what they're doing. Don't try to stretch too far. Especially if you're on the side of Divine, just play your game. You're not about to be knocked out yet unless this goes in off the backboard. That's exactly it. Divine playing so smart now, not allowing any of those rebound shots. That's the exact change they needed to hold off and stave SSG.
Now, I'm not sure if it's been communicated, but I love these solo efforts that are starting to come out from Space Station. The pass plays, the bumps, demos aren't working, but again, this is the third one in a row where they're taking a solo individual effort towards the net and getting at least one or two to commit for it. So after they kind of transition and condition the other team to do that, it might open up some of these pass plays in more of the midfield, because you have to respect every single player on this team as they send the house, and it goes off the backboard.
Bouncy ball situation as it flies all over in Simpical. Nails went home at an incredible angle. You talk about the solo plays, the double tap flip reset. Bang, she's home. And with 25 seconds left, SSG poised to take the series.
People want to discuss why Typical is so good. This series showcases it over and over again. The readiness to just challenge the ball and then in the air create something special. With 12 seconds left and Divine on defense, it could be difficult unless they can find a way out here. Final seconds ticking down as Arsenal just stays behind the ball, trying to apply as much pressure. Needs to pop this one up. Last chance here for Divine. If they don't score here and bring it into OT, that is it for the 3v3 bracket. And just like that, Space Station going to be able to hold on and move on, and have now ruined the chances of Divine in two of the brackets.
SSG, the downfall of Divine as they clear them out. Divine, surprisingly, based off a lot of people's expectations, did a lot better in the threes than they did in the twos, on paper at least. And they seem to have figured out what they needed to do. And honestly, given a bit more time, I kind of want to see if what would happen in a best of 9. I still have SSG favored.
It's a long game.
But Divine definitely woke up, and I'm impressed by their ability to adapt to all the different playstyle changes from SSG in the first place.